George Bush doesn't care about black people. George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Guess he doesn't care. That's Kanye West, the douchebag himself, who was downstairs last night performing at Madison Square Garden.
Yeezy.
Sure, that was quite a crowd. Welcome back to the Bernie and Sid Show on legendary 77 WABC on an overcast Wednesday before 3 straight days of sunny and 90-degree temperatures. And that's going to be it. I looked, Bill Evans, I looked at the next 2 weeks. Highs in the mid-70s, lows in the low 60s. So really after Saturday, fall will finally be here. Which
have you never heard of Indian summer?
I've heard of it.
Never say never.
Never say never. It can come back.
October 5th.
Hey, bro, you and I worked together last year. I was still working in Florida, but we did a tryout show. Christmas and Christmas Eve, it was 74 degrees.
Remember that?
I was nuts.
Yes.
Nuts.
So are you allowed to say Indian summer?
Not really. That's
you
definitely
know what? That was actually a microaggression, which leads us to our guest, the next hour, Milo Yiannapolous. Somebody's going to need a safe space because I said Indian summer.
Yeah, that's it. You'll be suspended for that.
Some hypersensitive crybaby will come after me.
Right.
And say you can't.
But
say
you can
Indian
say it and
summer.
know about it. Like I remember the first, I used to say Chinaman, which now you can't say that,
no,
obviously.
You can't say that.
Right, but I said that on the Imus show years ago, and he said you can't say that, and I was like, I wasn't aware. And once you're aware, if you continue to say it, that's a whole other story. Anyway, the fall is coming. We know that because tomorrow night starts the NFL season, a rematch of last year's Super Bowl, Bernard. The Panthers taking on the Denver Broncos. Sans Peyton Manning. I want to send a quick shout-out at tonight, to the top of today's show. I got my fantasy football draft tonight. Don't laugh. And all my guys are listening. Celia DeMonte, the league commissioner, Captain Adam Botts, I call him Silvio Dante, all the guys down at Jets Towing, which include Louie and Artie, my buddy Jonathan Siegel, my main man from the gym, and Frank Colley. Big fantasy football draft tonight with FanDuel. We've got FanDuel on the show.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Listen, I'm just one of these guys that's not into that type of stuff.
Why not?
I just don't get it.
What don't you get?
Who has the time for this stuff?
It takes 1 second. Once a week for 1 second, you change your lineup. And then Sunday, because I know you do watch football, at least you've got something to watch. Why would you care or else?
I mean, look, the real thing is fine. It's good enough.
It is.
If you have the time to sit down and spend 3 hours to watch a football game or 6 hours to watch 2 football games.
We used to work
it's okay.
We used to work with guys. Joe Beningo, for example, my former partner. He's up against us right now. He was my partner on FAN Middays. His mood, whether the Jets won or lost, that would be his mood for the week.
It's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's a sign of an empty life.
It is?
That's what it is.
You could win money, though, on FanDuel.
You can win money, right.
It is the opiate of the people today. They used to call religion that. Karl Marx did. Well, that's what sports is today. And by the way, maybe it's a good thing. It keeps people complacent.
Right.
Keeps the masses in line, gives them something to do, makes them feel like there's a purpose to their lives. So
and usually
I shouldn't complain.
Usually it's
harmless.
harmless.
The election was for, no?
Yeah, basically.
That too.
Usually it's harmless until your quarterback wears socks with pigs on him and doesn't stand for the national anthem. Then it's not so harmless anymore, is it?
That's the other aspect of that Colin Kaepernick nonsense. I mean, now sports it's become politicized, racialized. It's just can't we just have something that's sacrosanct that you can just purely for enjoyment without I
can't think of anything anymore.
I can't tell you.
Can you think of anything, honestly, in today's modern day society, can you think of anything where race, politics, money, agenda doesn't rear its ugly head? Anything.
Porn.
No, even that.
Even that, yeah. Even that, you're like interracial.
Yeah.
You know?
Asian. People trying to knock it off the internet.
Cartoons.
That should be a crime.
That's not the last place. That's the first place. Come on, Joe.
Cartoons. You know, when I was a kid, the cartoon character would fall off a cliff. Like 1,000 feet. Roadrunner. And he'd get a lump on his head, like a Scottie Pippen lump on his head. Now in cartoons, people die. What is that?
It's true.
Yeah. But there's no race. It's not politicized.
No, back then it actually was.
It was it?
There was some subtle, yes. There were some people that thought there was some subtle.
Which is, of course, yes. Bill Cosby actually pulled the Little Rascals. He actually bought up all the Little Rascals because he thought it was racist.
Right.
He subsequently sold them back or whatever. Speaking of which, he goes, he's injecting race into his trial. He's saying it's racial. It's racist. He's blind now, by the way. You know that.
He's blind?
Yeah. Bill Cosby.
Is that really true?
That is true.
He didn't get enough. I thought when when you masturbate and or have enough sex that your eyesight is fine.
Well, maybe maybe there is something to that to that rumor. But our guest next hour.
Yeah.
Speaking of things like that.
Right.
He was here last time, and he said to us Milo Yiannapolous, who's banned from Twitter. He calls himself a dangerous F word that rhymes with maggot. He goes on the dangerous F word that rhymes with maggot college tour. He's a right-wing gay guy on Breitbart, and he's been banned from Twitter. He went after he criticized Leslie Jones, the actress.
Yeah.
He wrote a scathing review, and then his followers criticized her. They vicious, just savage attacks against this Leslie Jones, and for that he was banned from Twitter. So, and we had him on here about a month ago.
He was great.
And he said he wouldn't mind being in prison and, stuck in a room with 30 guys and the object of all of their attention,
right.
to put it mildly. That's what he said. Anyway, he was featured on Nightline, was Milo Yiannapolous, because, you see, we're ahead of the curve. We knew the guy was hot and, not in that.
What do you mean by hot?
I don't mean that.
Okay.
But
look how Sid's dressed today.
Sid actually wore his skin. He pumped up. He got a haircut.
Right.
He's wearing, how would you describe the color of that shirt?
It's yellow.
Not exactly yellow. It's some sort of variation of yellow. And you're wearing skinny jeans.
I am.
All from Milo Yiannapolous' appearance here this morning.
Between the draft and Milo, either way, he's getting a tight end.
We'll go with that. Listen, Milo, it is true. Milo, the last time he was here, much like Justin Love, who works here on a daily basis, Curtis Lee was producer. For some reason, I went from being a chick magnet to a dick magnet. I don't know what the hell happened, but these guys love me.
They do.
Yeah.
Well, you know what happened is you're pumping up like you were Anderson Cooper's husband, for God's sakes, in the gym. That's why they love you. Look at you.
Yeah, but there's a lot of muscular guys.
You strut around. I remember when you first came up, you moved to New York. You're walking around with shopping bags. You're shopping in these little joints like you one of the chicks in Sex and the City.
Yes.
With your big muscles. That's a gay thing to do.
Is that a gay thing to do?
Yes.
Yeah. Walking around the Neiman Marcus bag on the B train, tan and muscular.
Exactly.
That's a gay thing to do.
And so this morning, the skinny jeans and the tan, and you pumped up yesterday. I think you took some,
sure, of course,
some testosterone.
Go with that, right? So today I looked the part.
You looked the part, pal.
Right.
So anyway, Milo's coming in next hour, but he was featured on Nightline, and he's a self-confessed troll. And these days, these trolls are being demonized. And the narrative is that they're all right-wing trolls, is what they are, according to Time Magazine and others.
According to the left.
According to the left. Well, according to the media. If you want to say ABC News is the left, then you're making my case that they're totally biased.
But I've always said they are, though.
So he's on with this guy, Terry Moran, and Moran's ripping him a new one. Take a listen. Cut 10.
Go after somebody's body?
Yeah.
To denigrate their ideas? What grade are you in? Seriously?
No.
Are you a 13-year-old boy?
No. Absolutely I will, and I'll tell you why.
Because somebody doesn't have a weight that you think is proper?
So,
that's revolting.
No, it's not revolting.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. I'll tell you what's revolting. What's revolting is the body positivity movement. What's revolting is this idea now that you can tell women that they'll be healthy at any size. Why? Because it tells women that you can be fat and you can be unattractive and you'll be happy anyway. That's a lie.
See, he's
right about that.
He considers himself a truth teller.
No, he's right about that.
But of course, again, the hypersensitive snowflakes, as they're called, in the social justice warrior movement, they want that is a microaggression that he's perpetrating. And of course, the whole it's sexist, and words like sexist and bully. What's sexist is designed to shut down. They poisoned the college campuses. It's seeped into the popular culture and politics, and it's designed to shut down debate and free speech.
It didn't seep into politics. When people say things that are sexist, they deserve to be called out.
So
When your guy Donald, Milo, what he said there was exactly right.
So, but now, wait a second.
When Donald Trump says that Hillary Clinton doesn't look presidential, that is sexist 1,000. There's no other way to look at it. That is sexist.
You are playing their game, and that's what they say about
that's not the game. That's a fact.
That's what
a fact.
They say. That's designed to shut down free speech and debate.
Shutting down nothing. There's nobody. There's nobody who loves the First Amendment and freedom of speech more than me. It's my job. That doesn't mean that anything Donald Trump says is okay. That's stupid.
You could say she does look presidential. You just can't label it sexist.
Of course it is. Because if she was a male,
Christie doesn't look presidential.
But he didn't say that.
Fat.
But he didn't say that.
I mean, you could
say that.
In other words,
but he didn't say that.
So anyway,
he picked the one
female
candidate and said she doesn't look presidential. That is sexist.
The one female candidate. Now, so listen to more of Milo talking about trolling.
Okay. Trolling is very important. Why? Trolling is absolutely essential. America needs more trolling because trolls are the only people who tell the truth these days.
So exactly right. Now look, again, the narrative is that the trolls are all on the right. But if you ever read, even on
that's not true.
The mainstream media websites, right. For example, an article about Ann Coulter, they're always talking about wishing her dead, wanting her to be raped. I mean, it works both ways on both sides.
I agree.
Constant, but that's not what you read. Time magazine, they did a big piece on it. It's all about Trump supporters are the trollers. Guys like Milo are the big trolls. It works both ways.
But I had this, and it also works both ways. When you and I had the argument for now 7 months, where you go, well, the left, all they do is name call. They're quick to say, and the right does, and nobody's been more of an insult guy than Donald Trump. And all I said from day one with you was, it works both ways. Every way, every which way.
When you say that's sexist, you sound like one of the hypersensitive snowflakes.
But why? Why can't I say
you
that?
You sound like
wait. So if Donald Trump says something that is sexist or racist or bigoted, I can't say that. I can't say that.
Expunge those words.
I can't say that.
That's right. You expunge those words from your vocabulary because
then what you're saying is no matter what Donald Trump says, it's okay.
That's
right. Okay.
That's right.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
These days of gender equality.
Stop. You can't say whatever the hell you want.
You're the one being sexist by pointing out the fact that he can't criticize a woman.
He's a pussy.
Like she's some sort of little, some sort of tender little
just stop.
flower.
He criticizes her every single day. I very rarely call him on the carpet for. If he wants to call her corrupt, I'm okay with that. She is. If he wants to call her a liar, I'm okay with that. She is. He insults her, criticizes her every day. I never break his balls. When you say she doesn't look presidential, that's sexist. There's no other way to look at it. No other way. I'm sorry.
Totally is. Absolutely
no,
is.
There's
Chris Christie,
no,
John McCain.
He didn't mention Chris Christie or John McCain.
Well, John McCain.
These arguments that you come up with, he doesn't say
John McCain's health was the huge issue in
with the
2008.
Left. With the left.
That's right.
So hold the left accountable and hold Donald Trump accountable.
It's all part and parcel of being in the arena and
that's
fighting.
Stupid.
That's
just
stupid.
Yes, it is. That's just stupid. That's excuse after excuse after excuse for Donald Trump.
Snowflake shut down free speech
Don't
debate.
say sexist and racist things, and you won't be labeled in those terms, which he's done from day one, over and over and over and over again.
Not one time. But that's just designed to shut down. That's exactly what that is.
He can keep talking because the more he talks,
ban Muslims,
the more he talks. Of course you are. Of course you are.
Ridiculous. It may be overreach, but it's not racist.
No, it's racist.
No, see what I mean? We can't talk about it.
He may not feel that in his heart.
We can't talk about it.
No, you can't, because when he says something racist, it's racist.
So Milo's
If the dog is brown, the dog is brown. It's not up for debate. When you say something racist, he may not mean that in his heart, but what he says is absolutely racist.
That is stupid. 1-800-848-9222.
Hug it out.
Put your thumb in your mouth, and we'll play some spots, and we'll come back. 1-800-848-WABC. Bernie and Sid on. We'll be back.
He's all flustered.
77 WABC.
In the Twitter storm that happened, you called her a dude.
I said it's a good job there's a hot black dude in the movie. She looks like a man. I am entitled to say that I think a celebrity looks weird.
You think that's fair comment and a decent
fair comment.
thing?
That's like the
civil
definition
thing
of fair
to do.
comment. That'll be a civil thing to do. If you don't like it, don't follow me on Twitter.
That was our next guest next hour, Milo Yiannapolous, duking it out with apparently the homophobic ABC News host Terry Moran, who's just treating the flamboyant gay guy like he was a 13-year-old.
He wasn't very nice.
I'm offended by it. I'm a snowflake.
Ted Koppel wouldn't have been like that, I know,
sure. It's terrible. Terrible. Have a little respect for the gay community.
Absolutely.
Let the guy have his opinion. Can a gay guy have his opinions?
You know, talking about women that aren't attractive, according to Milo, Donald Trump's best friend, Rosie O'Donnell, in the news today. Her daughter, OD, did you see that? Her daughter, Chelsea?
I did.
Yeah. That's kind of sad, actually. You think Trump will say something, or?
Of course not.
Oh, of course not, because that's not Donald Trump. You would never, even somebody who's close to death, you would never.
We have a few calls up. Sid is a maniac. Sid is nuts. Sid is wrong.
Well, guess what we are.
After that last comment,
we're at WABC.
I'm agreeing with these guys.
We're at WABC.
Are you kidding me?
He absolutely would say something.
He's going to talk about a woman's child ODing on God.
Donald Trump would, yes.
He leaves the kids out of it.
I can't
believe. He leaves the kids out of it.
Absolutely.
He would in a heartbeat.
No.
Yes,
Sid,
he would.
Sid, please.
Yes, he would.
Hey, Rich from New Jersey. Rich, you're on with Bernie and Sid on WABC. Hey, by the way, these snowflake, these hypersensitive PC social justice
Am
warriors,
I one of those?
They turned Ellen DeGeneres into a racist.
I understand.
This is what's happening. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Am I one of those?
You sound like you're wearing skinny jeans. You use the word bully and sexist, and you sound like you're gonna stick your thumb in your mouth and look for a safe space.
No. You sound like that, my friend.
No, you do.
No.
Really?
No. I'm not looking for any safe.
He's a bully.
Listen,
bully.
I've made my career on being politically incorrect. I'm all for that. But when a guy's a douchebag, You can't put lipstick on a pig and make the pig look nice. What you do every single day on this station is you put lipstick on a pig. Donald Trump is a pig. And you can't change that. What he said, you can't erase.
I don't want to erase it.
You can have your own,
it's the
your
label,
own interpretation.
It's the labels you put on it.
No, it's a label. It's the way he talks.
That's turning you into a snowflake.
Talks.
That's what's turning you. You've thrown in with the Hillary camp, and you're starting to sound like them.
When you talk like a racist, walk like a racist, act like a racist, there's a chance.
You're right.
There's a chance.
That is true.
You may be a racist.
Absolutely
that's Donald
right.
Trump.
No, that's not.
Okay,
absolutely not.
No, of course
secure
not.
border.
Because you say so.
He hires lots of African
Half the country is not going to vote for him because they think he's a racist. So the other half of the country is stupid.
Because people like you in the media, the snowflakes, the thumb-sucking cry bullies, are saying that.
Because we have the nerve to take what this man says seriously. You guys just don't care.
No,
you don't care.
It
doesn't matter what he's. No, you don't.
I take his Muslim ban proposal very, very seriously.
Very seriously, yes.
But I do not think it's racist.
But of course it is. It doesn't matter what you think.
It does matter.
Racist.
Of course it matters.
No, it doesn't.
No,
it's
racist.
It does. No, it's racist.
No, it's not.
The epitome of racist is that.
Snowflake.
Call me what you want. These stupid words have come up throughout this thing.
Rich from New Jersey. You're on with Bernie and Sid.
Hey, you guys are great. I got to tell you, I love you. But Sid, you do not know what the meaning of racist is. You're great. Love you on the radio, but you do not know the meaning of the word racist. If a person is incompetent, whether he's a man, woman, black, white, Hispanic, or anything else, he can still or she could still be incompetent. That's not a racist statement. That's a statement based on their potential.
But to deflect that criticism, you say it's racist because you
are a racist.
Right, because you don't like the person.
Somebody could be incompetent, and that doesn't mean if you say, "Hey, that guy, he could be African American. He's not competent to do this stuff." That's not racist. But when you want to ban a whole group of people based on anything, my friend, I know the meaning of racist. That's bigotry. That's racism.
About the Muslim thing now?
Mexicans, Muslims, all the thousands of things this guy has said along the way. But all of you just completely discount. You just discount because you like him and you hate him.
We got lectured by the program director.
Yes, we did.
We have to hit the news. Rich, thanks for the call. Bernie and Sid back after this.
70 app. Download it now. Upload the BS. 77 WABC.
Hey, I'm Steve Sharippa, and I'm on the Bernie and Sid show. I also heard Bo and Sliwa are running for mayor. Anybody's better than de Blasio. Get that guy out of here. Listen to Bernie and Sid.
I once thought Pete Davidson was just like Obama, biracial goofball who ruined a once beloved institution, but it turns out I was wrong. Pete's not biracial.
Good one.
And now for the man of the hour.
Good one. Ann Coulter, who, by the way, part of the Rob Lowe roast, which was very, very good stuff. Ann Coulter will be live in studio on this program coming up on Friday. For the next 3 days, we've got great in-studio guests, starting with Milo Yiannapolous next hour right here. Jesse Ventura live in studio tomorrow. And Ann Coulter live in studio on Friday with Bernard Carrick.
What kind of a lineup is that, huh? That's
crazy.
Stellar.
Well, it's crazy.
Stellar, baby.
Carrick will be here on Friday because, of course, Sunday, which is really the first full day of the NFL season. Giants in Dallas, Jets host Cincinnati, is, of course, September 11th. And Bernard Carrick is having some type of event. He's actually getting together some of the brave men and women that were there that day, that survived, obviously, getting together for the first time in 15 years. We do commemorate 15 years September 11th, this weekend. It's a big private event, and we're invited. So
it's huge, and it's an honor to be invited.
Yes.
Plus, I think he wants to kick Colin Kaepernick's ass.
I think so. Doesn't everybody?
Yeah, I believe
not
so.
Really. No, not everybody.
Not everybody.
Which is surprising. There's a lot of players in the league, in the NFL, that are standing behind him, and other leagues. You know, it's funny, guy like CeCe Sabathia, for example, from the Yankees, another big win over Toronto yesterday. He said last week, I'm with Colin Kaepernick, but I'm going to stand for the national anthem.
Well, good for him. He's a surly fat bastard, but
well, he's a nice guy, CeCe.
Is he really?
Yeah. But how could you be with the guy and say, but I'm going to stand?
It makes no sense. Look, a lot of them are worried about their brand, of course. A lot of selfishness going on. The same thing with Colin Kaepernick. I think somebody was implying that he stepped. Oh, it was Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes,
was saying he's stepping up now because he's a second stringer.
Right.
And he wants attention. And also, we pointed out yesterday his girlfriend is goading him into it. But the point is, as we stated, or as I did yesterday, it's all rooted in ignorance.
Yeah.
They don't know that what they're advocating, their opinion is misguided, is wrong. There is no epidemic of police shooting young black males.
No.
It just does not exist. Right. And the bottom line, the buck stops with the black attorney general and the black president of the United States. If any wrong needs to be righted, they can do it. Direct your ire at them. So it's all misguided ignorance.
Not only that, but the fight is not really a fight, because I think what they want you to believe, the Kaepernick supporters, is it's his constitutional right. He can do it. Well, none of us, not me, not Bernard, not the biggest detractor, is arguing whether or not Colin Kaepernick has the right to do it. Of course, he's got the right to do it. That's part of the freedom of speech. But just because you've got freedom of speech, whether the way I talk about Donald Trump or Colin Kaepernick, doesn't mean everything people say is savory. Right. People say things that are unsavory. I'm not saying get rid of the First Amendment, but in this case, he's got the right to do it. Doesn't mean he's not an asshole.
Exactly right. There's no reason to trample on, say, the American flag if you think there's some things going wrong in the country. If you think that, even if you're wrong, and he is wrong about that's the thing about it. It's totally misguided. It's erroneous what he's advocating, what he's saying, and it's poisonous because other people then believe that this is the case. And then it leads to more violence and more hatred. And
Agreed.
So what he's doing is dangerous, actually.
And people try to say, well, listen, all over Twitter, what's wrong with a peaceful protest? When, in fact, you start to get into the race thing and racial tensions right now in this country at an all-time high, at least since the 1960s, there ain't nothing peaceful about that.
Is there anybody who wants to see a young black male shot for no reason by a
cop?
Course Is there not. Anybody here? But Colin Kaepernick, point to one person who does. Point to one instance, one episode of a shooting like that occurred, that wasn't brought to justice. There's some that are debatable, but if it's because of race that it wasn't brought to justice, you have the attorney general, you have recourse, you have backup.
Well, they say the fix is in. The fix is in. Even though they're black, these folks, they're black, the fix is in.
The last line of defense is the Justice Department.
I'm with you.
Run by a black woman, previously a black man.
Eric Holder. Sure.
And ultimately run by the black president of the United States. So the whole thing is misguided, poisonous, and it's just wrong.
The Giants played in the Super Bowl right before 9/11. They lost to the Baltimore Ravens the year before. And, in fact, the very next season, the Giants opened up the season, the first Monday night game of the year against the Denver Broncos, and lost. That was Monday night. Tuesday morning, September 11th happened here in the country. But the Giants did play the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl right before 9/11. The head coach of the Baltimore Ravens at the time was a guy named Brian Billick. He won the Super Bowl. He's now at the NFL Network and Fox. He's a big-time football guy. Anyway, I did my second Sit on Sports podcast, which you can listen to each and every week right here at WABCRadio.com today. And my guest was Brian Billick, breaking down week 1 of the NFL. And I asked him about the Colin Kaepernick situation. He didn't seem all that pleased with Colin either. Now, what are your thoughts on 49er backup quarterback Colin Kaepernick?
The foreign he chose, basically bypassing his team, usurping that responsibility from his teammates, that's the problem I have with it. And there were those that say, well, but he needed to use that platform to get us to talk about it. Well, we're not talking about the issue. We're talking about whether he should or should not have done that. And so I don't know that it's particularly productive. Certainly you've got to support his right to have that perspective. The problem I have with it as a coach is you're bypassing the team structure. You have to give yourself over to the team, and if the organization, the team, if you choose to do that collectively, if you talk about it, fine. But he bypassed that altogether.
Brian Billick.
Yep.
What does he do now?
He works with the NFL Network. He hosts a Sunday morning show before all the games on Sunday and Fox as well. So he's an NFL analyst basically, but he said this kid decided to do this because he wanted to, him and his girlfriend, and didn't go through the proper channels, didn't tell anybody, and therefore all the repercussion he's getting may have been limited if in fact he had his club's help.
Well, do your homework first. Look at check the New York Times, check the Washington Post, check the black Harvard professor who did a study. There is no epidemic of any of this happening. There are incidents, and they are dealt with. Cops are arrested and prosecuted.
And they're ugly.
They're ugly.
The guy in the front seat of the car in Minnesota will never forget that. We'll never forget that.
Exactly right. But it's poisonous because, again, you have Hillary Clinton pandering to people by saying that the cops are racist. So people actually, they believe it. They sincerely perhaps believe it. And the ignorance is perpetuated and hatred is perpetuated based on falsehoods. And that's what he's doing. To me, that's the worst part of the whole thing.
Why is somebody on line 2 arguing Sid is wrong? It's not a First Amendment issue. I never said it was. I said he's got the right to do it.
Let's find out. Joe from Long Island. You're on with Bernie and Sid on WABC. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, boys. I'm retired NYPD lieutenant. The Constitution is hammered into our head, among other things, all throughout the academy and every year in service training. Okay. The Constitution of the United States and its amendments protects citizens against government intrusion. It has nothing to do with private corporations. A private corporation, your company can tell you what to say and what not to say. The NFL can tell them what to say and what to say. The 49ers.
Oh, no, Joe, you're exactly right. What I'm saying is legally, he didn't do anything illegal. But, yes, if the 49ers want to cut that guy today, just like ESPN does, right, Joe? I mean, There's no freedom of speech with ESPN. They just fired Kurt Schilling. You're right. The company can get rid of him. I'm talking about legally in the United States. He can say whatever the hell he wants.
I understand, but everybody keeps dropping the First Amendment, including the president, the alleged president of the United States. It has nothing to do with the First Amendment. He can say whatever he wants.
Well, no, what it does. It does, because if the 49ers cut him today, he would go back and sue them. His attorney would talk all day about the First Amendment, and they would have a difficult time maybe winning that case. So you're right, but it does. There is
what's with the Sox? What was the Sox? Who was it? The Beast out there in Seattle. He wasn't allowed to wear golden shoes because the league and the team tells him what to wear, including socks and shoes. Where does he get off wearing those?
Listen,
how do they let him get wearing the pig socks?
Joe, you're exactly. And for me, that was the bigger issue, more than him kneeling for the national anthem, which I find despicable enough. The fact that this guy wore socks with cops as pigs, and people are still defending this guy. That to me is what's nauseating here.
And meanwhile, the NFL
nauseating. He was out of uniform. It has nothing to do with nauseating. He's out of uniform.
The NFL
wasn't allowed to wear golden shoes because it's not the uniform.
And the NFL will not allow the Dallas Cowboys to wear decals to show solidarity with the Dallas Police Department in the wake of that police massacre. Yet this is cool.
There was also something
despicable. This Goodell creep.
Yeah, somebody wanted to do something in the NFL 9/11 too, and the NFL said no to that too.
Let's do Phil from Queens. Phil, you're on with Bernie and Sid on WABC. Good morning, Phil.
Hi, I'm a retired NYPD detective. As our blood flows in the streets, ruthless politicians use and abuse.
We lost him.
What? Hey, Lauren from New York City. Lauren, you're on with Bernie and Sid on WABC.
Hello?
Go ahead, Lauren.
Hey.
Who is this?
This is Bernie and Sid, Lauren.
This is Evan and Joe on WFAN.
The gentleman before just made my point. No, he does not have freedom of speech. Mark Levin was on last night talking about this. He has freedom of speech as a private citizen, outside on his lawn. But when he's hired by the NFL, just like you can't say Chinaman, or now we can't say, we have to say the N-word because we can't. No, he does not have freedom.
Well, he obviously does, because last I checked, he's still the backup quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. If it was that easy, they may have cut him.
It's not a constitutional issue.
Understood. All right, Lauren, listen, thank you for the call. But I would say, did you know that Mark Levin has now said he's going to vote for Donald Trump? Were you aware of that?
Well, I figured that was going to be the case. I know he never voted for Hillary.
Right.
So he will very unenthusiastically, almost
because it is as he put it, a binary choice, as everybody's putting it.
Well, that's why I picked one of those two. I didn't go to Gary Johnson.
I agree. Look, I give you plaudits for having the integrity to pick one or the other instead of being a never Trump weasel saying, "Oh, I'll vote for this guy or I'll try this here." You did pick somebody.
I could never imagine Levin voting for Hillary, so that's not a big surprise.
Right. Well, he's a brilliant guy.
He's a smart guy. I think brilliant may be a stretch.
He made the right choice.
He made,
unlike yourself.
Well, he did make the right choice. I'm making the left choice.
1-800-848-WABC. Next hour, we have Milo Yiannapolous, the most dangerous, he calls himself the dangerous F word that rhymes with maggot.
Well, you can't. When he comes in, he's allowed to say it.
Yeah, but
you can't say it.
Of course not. Of course not, because well,
because there's no freedom of speech.
That's exactly right. I can't say what he calls himself, but that's all right. I don't even want to say it. But when he comes in, he'll say it. He's coming up next hour, and he's going to straighten everybody out on these trolls, on PC nonsense, on being banned from Twitter. This guy
should be banned from Twitter.
He
said some horrible things.
He's a crusader. What?
I don't even know what he said. I tried to go to his site to see what he wrote on Twitter. He was already banned. So.
Well, it was because he did this review of Leslie Jones's movie Ghostbusters, which was horrendous in his view. And then his followers, apparently people who like him, they went on and they savaged her.
See, well, that's part of the problem.
And then he's like, "What?" In fact, he made a great point. Can you play that last cut from Milo? He made a great point about these people. Yeah, go ahead, play it.
This idea that celebrities are these fragile wallflowers, give me a break.
Because she acted in a movie,
Hollywood
you rallied people.
Are sitting at home crying into their iPhones.
Why didn't you stand up, as people called her, ape, gorilla, and worse, and say, guys, this is good to do, but not racism.
Why should I have to police other people's speech?
Stand up for rights.
I'm responsible.
Why not stand up for the rights?
I'm responsible for what I say. I'm perfectly happy to tell you I think that stuff is disgusting.
So you have
I'm
no
perfectly
obligation for your 350,000 followers.
Does Justin Bieber have an obligation to his fans?
On this woman?
I'm sorry for being popular, but I am not responsible for what 350,000 people on the internet say. I am responsible for what I say.
Right.
Do you go after Selena Gomez when her fans send death threats to Justin Bieber? No. Do you go after Beyonce when her fans go after Taylor Swift? No.
Okay.
You gotta love him.
There you go. That's his point of view.
Don't hate me for being beautiful, baby.
He's coming in, the fabulous Milo. Bernie and Sid, 1-800-848-9222. Back after this.
Oh, I'm being heckled right now.
Oh, yes,
this
you
is
are.
a heckle. This is a heckle.
No.
That is a heckle.
No.
You know, look, I know a heckle when I hear one.
That's
Jill.
We blame her.
That is a heckle. That is a heckle.
That's Jill, our
Can't
producer.
believe it. I don't listen to garbage like that. Are you kidding me?
This is ridiculous.
But this is perfect because it'll get us into the whole conversation. We are back with that one, number 2.
I know, this is offensive.
Right, the Bernie and Sid show on 77 WABC. This is, in fact, the Village People, and they're gay, as is our next guest.
That was
flamboyant
seamless.
and beautiful.
It was flawless.
Milo
Seamless.
Yiannapolous.
I could work in radio for 30 years and never come up with a segment.
Has this
like that.
been, usually when you go on a radio show, is this the lame thing they do, play the Village People?
Yes, it is this exact song. and you know, maybe it's just me because I have very high expectations of everybody in my life, and it always leads to misery and disappointment. But I had, having met you previously, thought better of you. But it's okay.
No, listen.
It's okay.
We're blaming her.
It's okay.
We're blaming her.
Blaming her.
Yes. That's
glamorous woman in the back.
We blame the women because we're sexist like that. Hey,
Well,
so Milo
you see,
Yiannapolous
I
is
love
here.
women, as I'm sure we're about to discuss at length.
You love attractive women. I love
Yeah, I do.
attractive
Yeah,
women.
I
We
do.
do. We love women. We love women, period.
We do.
You don't
like Donald Trump.
What would
I
gay
love
guys?
the women.
What would gay guys do without fag hags? Of course, I love women.
Right.
That's true.
Who'd you hang out with?
Exactly. I mean, straight men don't want to.
So listen, your latest Milo Yiannapolous, Breitbart. He writes for Breitbart. He's a gay conservative, is what he is, and a provocateur, self-admitted troll. And he was on this tour. What do you call your tour on college campuses?
You can't say it. Can you?
I
I can't.
Let me.
Please.
Let
me give you a fag pass. I'm going to give you a
I
fag
can't
pass
take
for the
it.
hour. You can't because people are going to get upset.
You know what's funny? We went to our boss after you were here last time. He loved you, but I thought you were great. And he said, listen, Milo said it's okay if, in fact, we say that. And he said, okay, then let Milo sign your next check.
You see?
Oh, my God. See, this is the problem with America. This is what I'm for. I exist to fix this problem because I want you guys to be able to say fag. I want you guys to be able to say queer and
so you should run for
pansy.
president. Why don't you run for instead of backing Donald Trump and getting in trouble? Why don't you run for president?
I wasn't born. I need a new amendment. I need a Milo amendment.
If there was a Milo amendment, would you ever really consider running and trying to make real changes?
Oh, are you kidding? I'd be the most fabulous president in history. I'd be Fantastic. Everybody, do what you want, say what you want, be what you want, read what you want, hang out with whoever you want, dress however you like, speak how you please. I'd be the most popular president in history. Are you kidding me?
No, your future is...
I'd probably end up nuking Mecca, but but people at home would like
That's why we want Trump. Raqqa, Mecca, whatever the hell. Listen, you've become more notorious and famous since the last time we saw you, if that's possible.
No, that's going to be the case every time we ever meet.
Every single time. And the whole thing now is this trolling thing. You got banned from Twitter. You were banned last time you were here for criticizing a movie. For God's sakes, the whole thing.
For a bad movie.
For a terrible, horrible movie, and you had people attack the lady after you attacked her in the movie. You criticized the movie, and they banned you because of some of your followers, what they said.
Right.
And you
Guilt by association.
Astutely pointed out, why should I have to defend myself against what other people say? Then you were on this show, ABC's Nightline, with this homophobe, Terry Moran.
You see, this is the thing. This is what I can use now, because they have spent so long trying to convince normal people like us that if you disagree with something that a black woman says, it's because she's black and a woman, and therefore you must be a sexist and racist. And if you disagree with something that a gay person says, it must be because you're a homophobe. Well, two can play at that game, sweetheart.
That's exactly why I said what I said.
I know.
Here was Milo Yiannapolous with this guy, Terry Moran, on ABC's Nightline.
Homophobe Terry Moran.
Time magazine did this big article about trolling. They quoted Milo, and apparently it's a right-wing phenomenon. There's no lefties don't do any trolling.
No, of course not. No, that whole Bernie Sanders thing.
Take a listen to this exchange right here.
You're going to go after somebody's body?
Yeah.
To denigrate their ideas? What grade are you in? Seriously?
No.
Are you a 13-year-old
No. Absolutely I will, and I'll tell you why.
Because somebody doesn't have a weight that you think is proper? That's revolting.
No, it's not revolting.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. I'll tell you what's revolting. What's revolting is the body positivity movement. What's revolting is this idea now that you can tell women that they'll be healthy at any size. Why? Because it tells women that you can be fat and you can be unattractive and you'll be happy anyway. That's a lie.
That is a lie.
It's a lie.
That is a lie.
It's a lie. And this comes from, these overweight, self-indulgent, deeply miserable, self-loathing lesbians in... no, I'm serious.
Jesus.
I'm serious.
We know you're serious.
I know.
It's still funny.
That's the problem. No, in the university departments where this stuff starts. And my objection to it is that, these young, vulnerable girls who are arriving, have body image issues, don't know their place in the world, are trying to work out, what they're into, what they want, And do we encourage these people to live good lives, to be disciplined, to respect their bodies, to look good for other people, to be happy and well-adjusted?
It's tough. It's tough love to do that. It would be tough love.
Well, who's most guilty of that crime of in fact
lesbians.
Doing that? Lesbians are the most guilty.
Well, yes, and it's not a joke actually. I mean, men are visual animals. We like to look at things, which is why you get the sort of in gay culture, for instance, it's very visual. It's all about the jacked bodies and things because men are visual animals. So we get two men together. All they want to do is look at each other and then whatever. Right. Women are emotional animals. They look for pleasure and comfort and satisfaction in other sorts of things, And so when you have two women who are attracted to one another, they kind of don't care what each other looks like. And in fact, this is one of the reasons why they have this phenomenon called lesbian bed death.
What is that?
Well, when two lesbian couples get together after the first sort of 3 to 6 months, they just don't have sex the rest of their lives. They just don't bother because they're not really interested. Yeah, their libidos just evaporate, basically. Well, under those circumstances, it's not difficult to imagine why the almost exclusively lesbian gender studies departments in American universities are starting to pump out this stuff that says, oh, girls, your self-esteem should not be related to what a man thinks of you. Well, yeah, it should. If you want a nice boyfriend, if you want an attractive, wealthy husband who is as smart as you and is going to make you smile and not cheat on you and be a nice guy. Yeah, it should. And it's not about meeting up to male expectations. It's just about having some self-respect about your bodies. Absolutely. And these kids are getting to universities encouraged to wallow in grievance and victimhood culture exactly in their social justice classes, and then come into contact with these terrifying and horrible professors who are telling them that it's okay to turn themselves into gorgons and that somehow they'll still be. Well, no, you won't. You'll only be happy looking like something from a 17th century fairy tale. If you're only interested in sleeping with women, otherwise it's simply not true. And what little light, mischievous trolling that I do, about the messages that the media and even companies now. JCPenney did this video. JCPenney put this video on Twitter saying, healthy at any size. You're not healthy at any size. You are going to die sooner. You're going to die sooner.
It's not
good.
And
it's not a joke. You are going to die
but they're not,
earlier.
But the heavier size models, for example, they're not Roseanne Barr. They're just, they may be 50 pounds heavier than what you're used to. They're hardly fat and out of shape and dying.
Well, no, but some of the plus size models are kind of edging up against what are in some cases relatively unhealthy skinny models who are too thin.
Right,
there is such a thing as too thin. Believe it or not, a gay man would say that. There is such a thing as too thin. But that's not the kind of people we're talking about. If you look at the JCPenney video, every woman in the JCPenney video, who's sort of minor celebrities, comedians and whatever, every single woman in that video was obese.
Obese.
Okay. And these are the role models that the examples we're sending young girls.
Yeah.
Disney has been systematically dismantled as a good role model system for young women. Why? Who knows? But Disney heroines who worked hard to achieve the love they always wanted, looked after themselves, overcame obstacles. This is like essentially conservative libertarian ideals of self-improvement, seeing what you want, working out how to get there, and getting there. I mean, Jasmine does that. Ariel does that.
Snow White.
Sorry,
Snow White did it.
Snow White for sure. All of these role models. By the way, did you see? So this is a little tangent, but did you see that they have redesigned at Disney World? They have redesigned Jasmine's outfit.
I missed that.
No. Well, you're looking like you might be excited by this, but you won't be. So Jasmine used to have a really sexy outfit. She used to have this little boob thing and the billowy trousers. And the whole point of her showing a bit of flesh was that she was resisting the conservatism of the Sultan, of her dad, right?
That's right.
So she was going against this, what we would now recognize as a sort of oppressive, patriarchal Islamic culture.
Right.
And she was resisting that. She was a modern, strong woman who was going to date whoever she wanted, no matter what social class he came from. Fantastic role model for young girls, in my view, right?
Mm-hmm.
The costume for Jasmine has been changed at Disney World to cover her up.
Oh, boy.
To comply with, and this is the words that Disney employees have told me, modesty and safety. Now, safety is a word that corporations use when they just want to do something and don't want to explain the real reason. And modesty, no, I mean,
this is regressive.
Oh, it's for your safety.
Come
Give
on.
me a break. Oh, I'm so unsafe by seeing a woman's fall round. Please, I mean,
Really?
just give me a break. It's so patronizing. It's not. They don't even pretend. They don't even try to pretend that's true. They just say, "Oh, safety." So anyway, it was modesty. Modesty is an Islamic watchword.
Exactly right.
It is the
Exactly
it's not the modesty. I mean, do you think American society, American culture is getting more modest? Is there some clamor in American society for women to cover up? No. There is a sensitivity to the feelings of Muslims.
But why
and as
is
a result,
that?
Jasmine's being covered up.
Why is that, Milo? Why is that? Why is that the left that encourages immodesty traditionally is so? When it comes to Islamic, the Islamic religion and burkinis and all that stuff, they defend it to the death. I mean, what's the deal with that?
Well, I don't think it's as simple as they're afraid of being blown up. I think it's more complicated than that. I've thought a lot about this. I think the analysis that Islam has of the West is very similar to the analysis that Black Lives Matter, modern radical feminism, and the progressive left has of the West. They hate all the same things about America. They hate modern, democratic, liberal Western capitalism. They hate the supposed, white patriarchy. All of the things that modern social justice warriors and progressives hate about America, Muslims do too.
So the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right. So in the Cold War, you had the progressives that the Soviet Union was calling useful idiots. Well, today, for ISIS, the useful idiots are in university departments in America, undermining the principles that made America strong and brilliant, and weakening, the First and Second Amendments. These are ISIS's useful idiots.
I see. So it corresponds to their goals.
See, my thing is, I have no issue, and you're not going to like this, Milo, with women in bikinis. I don't like to see men in bikinis. I don't like when men go to the beach and they wear these little
no.
plastic bathing suits.
I agree. I think it's.
You do? You think it's gross, right?
No, I mean, you think something you don't know about me because we don't know each other that well. I really don't like other gay people very much, and they don't.
No, but these are straight guys too.
I don't know, but that sort of preening, over waxed, tweezed, plucked, posing pouch.
Well, you don't like that?
Budgie smuggle. No, God, it's horrible. It's horrible. I like gentlemen to be gentlemen.
So the upshot of our conversation that we just had, we're going to break in a moment, is body shaming is actually constructive.
Of course, fat shaming works. If your wife tells you you're getting fat and she doesn't want to have sex with you, what do? You stop eating. Of course it works.
Because she loves you, right?
Of course it works.
Exactly right. Now, and
no
the
wonder
point
you like Trump. I mean, you're consistent. I got to give you that. You're consistent because Donald Trump is the type of guy that would he has, in fact, body shame people his whole life.
Of course.
And you find that to be charming and appealing, don't you?
Of course I do.
Right.
Because
you don't have any daughters. Because you don't have any daughters.
No. Because if I had daughters, I would make sure they were thin and gorgeous. And if I had sons, I'd make sure they were athletic and smart and they got sports scholarships. Because I want the best for my children, and I don't want them to indulge in in this victimhood, grievance, egotistical view of the world that says that the rest of the world has to warp itself around me. No, the world is as it is. We don't live in a utopia, and if you want your children to be healthy, happy, and successful, they have to go do certain things, like look after themselves, work hard at school, all this kind of stuff.
Great advice. Now, this is going to come as a surprise to our listeners and your fans. Milo is a huge fan of Amy Schumer and Lena Dunham. He's going to tell us all about that right after this break.
Stop it. Get in. Get Truth. 77 WABC.
Now this is better. This is Jane's Addiction. Dave Navarro, he was on with us.
I'm just being heckled in a different way.
No,
I don't know what you're alluding to now.
This is.
I don't know what's going on.
This guy was on with us last week. The guitarist Dave Navarro from this band.
Oh, really? He's
cool.
He was
an asshole.
Oh, he was an asshole.
Terrible.
Oh, I'm
He's
sorry.
a jerk.
Oh, I always thought he was cool.
So anyway,
we're
here on the Bernie and Sid Show with the fabulous self-admitted troll Milo Yiannapolous. He writes for Breitbart. He has a podcast on Breitbart. It was just banned from Twitter, by the way. As
they did.
Milo himself.
They're such monsters.
They are. They're animals.
They're such monsters.
They banned your podcast too?
Yeah. So they came to the Twitter feed. It literally just tweets links to the show. That's it. And that's too much for them.
So let me ask you this: you're on a ship, right? And Amy Schumer, Lena Dunham, and Glenn Beck are all swept overboard. You have one lifesaver. Who do you throw it to?
Oh no, I just kill them all. No, there isn't enough rope in the world to save Amy Schumer. So she's out. No, I think they've all got to go.
Really?
Okay, now you got into this big fight with Glenn Beck, who's totally lost his mind. He's a psycho.
He's a lunatic.
He really is. I
mean, he's this guy. He got 1 million people to his rally once. I mean, could I get 1 million people to put Cheetos on their face to mock him? No, because no one cares about Glenn Beck anymore. He's just such a crazy person. And he does this thing. If you're a Glenn Beck fan and you're out there and you're thinking, yeah, this one's gone a bit off the boil, I would advise you to just observe something that he does. When he doesn't have an argument, but he wants to get at you for something, he will start this pious, holier-than-thou sort of Christian values, kindness, compassion kind of routine. And it is a routine. There's a reason that Glenn Beck came for me and said, oh, Milo, you're a 13-year-old, you're becoming the bullies you hate, blah, blah, blah. Total garbage, of course. There's a reason he did it, and that's because a couple of days previously, I leaked on my Facebook page that the Blaze was seeking a particular kind of loan that is only used immediately prior to bankruptcy. It's only used when you've exhausted all other options, which means the company but effectively has a couple of weeks left unless it can get bridge financing.
Which is true.
Or unless...
I know that for a fact.
It sucks.
Right, unless it can get bridge financing or unless, somebody buys it. It's a loan that's often used as a last-ditch attempt to keep the company alive while you're looking for, to do a fire sale. And nobody knew this, and I knew from my friend who worked at the investment bank that was doing it. So I put this on my Facebook page, and of course the Blaze were furious that anybody found this out because I have better sources and hair than everybody there. There
you go.
Yeah,
it's true.
And anyway, so he got mad with me. So he wrote this thing about how I'm such a bully, I'm such a child.
He called you sexist, all the hate, hate monger, and all this.
Give me a break.
He turned into one of them.
But I got to ask you this.
No, Glenn Beck, one of the fulminating conspiracy mongers of conservative media, has now rediscovered himself as an evangelical preacher. Give me a break.
He's a maniac. We have to break because we have to get to news, and he'll be here for the next 30 minutes, which is great. But I'm going to ask you to think about this during the break. I agree, Glenn Beck's a maniac. I agree. But you seem to think anybody who doesn't like Donald Trump or anybody who's against what you believe is a maniac. So what I want you to do is...
No, that's
not
true.
Then when
that's
we get,
not true. You're lovely. I think you're lovely.
Well,
you hate Donald Trump.
I'm the one guy.
Oh, okay.
When we get back from break, give me somebody who is anti-Donald Trump that you still respect, okay? Is that fair?
Easy.
And then we want to ask you about the Hillary's alt-right speech. You are the personification of the alt-right movement.
She came for me. She read out my headlines. It was so exciting.
We're going to ask you about that. And we're going to
That's like $3 million in advertising.
Thanks,
babe.
We have some questions about the gay culture that we want you to be frank with us about.
Yes.
We're ignorant, and we want to talk to you about it.
We even want to try some stuff, if that's okay with you. But no, it's ready to go.
We're going to roll
you wore your skinny jeans for me today, didn't you? I noticed. Those are way skinnier than the ones you were wearing last time. I noticed. You fagged up for me today.
You're damn right you did. You're damn right. Bernie, Sid, and Milo back after the news.
77 WABC.
So I got to tell you, you'd never know until he talked, obviously, that Milo was gay. Just when he walks in, you wouldn't know. He's got it.
People meet me and have conversations with me. They do not know him.
They don't know. You're a good-looking kid. You're dressed impeccably today until I just dropped my pen. So I took
easy.
I know. Don't get nuts. So I went to grab my pen, and his socks today.
What's wrong with my socks?
So the look. Oh. Hey,
they're pink tartan.
As a matter of fact,
and I'm also wearing crushed burgundy velvet slippers because I wore a nice suit because I met you last time and I thought, oh god, okay, fine, I'll do it. And I came along and you were amazing, and I respected you enough to actually put a suit on you, for you this time.
You look beautiful.
This was cut for me last week. It fits perfectly.
It looks great.
It does.
Fabulous.
But not quite enough to wear real shoes. So I'm in crushed burgundy velvet slippers.
Bush 41
and lovely socks.
Bush 41 wore socks like that, so
he
it's
did?
not necessarily an
He wore
indicator.
pink socks?
Yes, he wore flamboyant socks like
What's
that.
wrong with
Yes.
pink? So those
Exactly
jeans
right.
hugging your thighs like they do, and you have the audacity to complain
I know,
about my
right?
socks.
Isn't he unbelievable?
Good grief, the level of hypocrisy in the studio is suffocating.
Talk about it. I asked you before the break, before Bernard gets to his next question. I said, you're so pro-Trump, which is fine, so is Bernie, that tell me somebody in your life besides me and cross-dressers and RuPaul that you like and or respect.
That's offensive, by the way.
Right, of course it is.
No, it's
he doesn't
fine.
care.
I gave him
he's
a
good
back
with
pass.
that doesn't like, that is not for Donald Trump, and you couldn't even think of one person.
Do you know it's very difficult, and it's difficult because all the fun people like Trump, all the hellraisers, all the mischief makers,
I'm fun.
they all like Trump. I'm just thinking through, the good feminists, whether it's Christina Hoff Sommers or Camille Parley or the Phyllis Schlafly, who sadly died this week, yesterday, wasn't it? Iconic, brilliant, iconoclasts, but people who went against the grain. Or either Trump, or at least have flirted with or acknowledged his appeal, rather than doing the virtue signaling never Trump thing. I mean, it's really difficult. Yeah. I mean, the only person I can think of is, the only people I can think of are like pop stars because they kind of have to be.
Well, you got angry with, the only time I did offend you, you walked out of the studio.
Managed to offend me.
Mariah Carey.
Mariah, of course, has to pretend to be Hillary just because she's.
But why do you love Mariah?
She's got so many Hispanic
Why do you love
fans.
her so much, though? What is your?
Oh, she's the only megastar left.
Really?
I think so. I mean, Madonna as well, of course. But she's. But Madonna is a bit of a.
Would you have
beast.
sex with Mariah Carey even though you're gay?
Of course.
Oh yeah, listen to this.
Of course.
Right.
No,
she's
perfect. She's perfect. No, I mean, I see Mariah as kind of coming from the line of Ella, Billie, Nina. She's a very poppy version of that, but she's a woman who sings about grief and loss and pain and all that. Choice. And Madonna doesn't really do that.
Between Mariah Carey and Drew Carey, who would you rather have sex with? Both at the same time, bro.
Has to be Mimi.
So listen, mostly the people who are supporting Hillary, sour, angry,
they're
SOBs,
so
boring.
Right?
They're
so boring.
Terrible.
Oh, and the worst people aren't them. The worst people are the conservatives. The worst people are the Republicans.
Oh, the never Trump
Republicans are so dull. It's like in the most spectacular imaginable way, these people have just had it explained to them why their party is no longer fit for purpose and why everyone hates them. And their response, rather than reflection and humility, is to go on the attack like wounded animals that know they're about to be put out of their misery. I mean, you've got people wandering around, Bill Kristol and Ben Shapiro and all these other people who used to be very well respected and used to have big platforms, but just seeing their seeing their audiences evaporate, wandering around looking like dogs that have just been kicked,
Right.
And they are dogs and they were just kicked, and they deserve to be, and they should slink off and go and be mongrels somewhere while we build a glorious, beautiful new empire of Trump.
Okay, so you're the face. You're the face of the alt-right, as it's called.
No,
Hillary introduced that.
People are desperate to appoint me that.
But she demonized that whole movement with that speech, of course, unfairly, unnecessarily. What is the alt-right to you?
She made it sound basically like they're KKK, right? I mean, basically.
Essentially.
Are there even white supremacists left in this country? What are there, like 5,000 of them left compared to Black Lives Matter? You tell me what the racial superiority movement in America today is. Give me a break. The only remaining, the only remnant of the existence of the KKK I ever see is pictures of Hillary with Robert Byrd. I mean, give me a break.
Al Gore's father was
right.
Of course,
there was the
Democrats party.
There was the Donald Trump, David Duke thing for a while there too.
Oh no, but Donald Trump was doing something different. It was very interesting and very clever, which was refusing to play this disavowal game.
Right.
He said, "Do you disavow this? Do you disavow that?" And Trump's like,
nah.
Go to hell. I've got to win an election,
Right.
And he was meandering on that subject. And I've come to realize what he was doing was very smart on that subject. No. I mean, look, the alt-right is a new, mischievous, dissident movement full of subversion and whimsy and very smart people, which sort of rejects establishment republicanism. It was rejecting the market knows all. It cares about Western culture. It cares about protecting Western culture from immigration. It cares about wages for the people that globalization civilization globalism has left behind. It's a sort of
it's not so much the Christian conservative right anymore.
That's kind of yesterday's news. And obviously, as a homosexual, I'm obliged to put my bags in the coolest camp, and that's the alt-right. No, I mean people are desperate to appoint me the head of the alt-right. All I have ever done is give them a fair hearing in the press. I've never even said I was a member of it. But it's I differ with them on some things. I was pro the Iraq War. I'm very pro-Israel and stuff like that, which the alt-right would find very uncomfortable. So no, I'm not like the crown prince of it. But I do have a lot of sympathies, and I do like
interesting
them.
You said you were pro-Iraq war, because one of the things that Bernard for a while, not just Bernard, I don't want to, because he's not alone, and I get it. Hillary and others, that they were pro the Iraq war, this mistake. And I guess and Bernard's not wrong when he says, hey, listen, it's one thing if in fact you voted for it, if it was not for political expediency, and if you decided now that it was the wrong move. Are you one of those guys that voted for it, but now today says it was the wrong move?
No, I think it was the right move, and I would invade every Muslim country, kill their leaders, convert them to Christianity, as Ann Coulter likes to say.
Yeah, I guess
no, we haven't gone nearly far enough in the Middle East. But
here's the thing, Milo. The thing is that the dictator, the secular dictator, was better than the radical Islamist mentality that took over.
That's just because we screwed up. Because we didn't do it properly. That's not because we shouldn't have gone. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have gone in. I mean, we should have gone in properly.
Mubarak in Egypt, the same thing with Gaddafi in Libya. We're better off with the secular dictator because he keeps an iron fist and keeps the animals at bay.
Yeah, no, I see the value in that, and I certainly respect.
Which probably
it. If you can't wage total war against the Middle East,
if you can't just annihilate them,
then yes, exactly. Then yes, you're absolutely right.
But it sounds crazy that instead of annihilating them, we are okay leaving a person like that who doesn't mind genocide, killing his own people. Forget about Americans, his own people, better off because it's not as bad as the next guy. That sounds crazy.
It does, but you can't police the whole world.
It's reality.
You can't police the whole world. In the real world, you have to make difficult decisions. What the alt-right, I think, would say is that we have done enough of this messing with the rest of the world, these foreign wars, and it's time to make America great again. It's time to focus on domestic issues for a while.
Okay.
And so they're much less hawkish than the neocons and other Republican presidents of the last sort of decade or so.
So let me ask you this now. Trump has tightened the race. He went to a black church. He's reached out to black Americans. The race is tightened. What do you think of the race as it stands right now? Hillary's on the decline. She's looking more corrupt and sickly and
sick.
You want to
can she even get her own name out now? I mean, it's like, hi, my name's. I mean, honestly, that was so distressing watching.
It was disgusting.
It was distressing. What is going on there? Look, there's a very simple thing that's going to happen. The debates. And Trump is a juggernaut. He's a freight train. That man has so much energy. He's so high energy. What's going to happen when she's supposed to be on stage for like 45 minutes, an hour and a half? She'll be fine. She'll be drugged up to the eyeballs. She'll be barely able to string a sentence together, or she'll be coughing her lungs out. Hillary doesn't have a great record when she tries to play the victim. When she cried, it didn't work out well for her.
True.
When she plays the woman card, it doesn't work out well for her.
How do you know?
She doesn't get. Well, she.
How do you know?
Well, because of her husband, for one.
When she talks about the sexism stuff, it just rings hollow with people because her husband's a rapist and she covered it up and went after the women. Right. So it
when she gets the overwhelming amount of women voting for her in November, then what are you going to say? We don't know that. Well, it doesn't work for her. How do you know? We have no election yet.
Well, I think we know from her because she doesn't get.
Trump does better with married women than Hillary Clinton, by the way.
Of course, because interestingly, for an engine of chaos, he is supporting.
You don't agree with that, did you?
That's not. No, that's a fact.
He doesn't do better with any class of women than Hillary Clinton. Not married, not married. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. There are no facts until November. There are no facts until November.
Would not surprise me if Trump was doing well with married women, because married women always go very conservative in their voting and always go protectionist.
I'm married to a woman who wouldn't vote for Donald Trump if he was the last man on this planet.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Now we know where your opinions are coming from.
Exactly. It's the skinny jeans. Did she pick them out for you? Did she pick them out?
She doesn't want any. She doesn't want any more kids.
Did she pick out the shirt? Yeah, she doesn't want any more children.
I think you pointed that out last time.
She doesn't want to continue this bloodline.
Right. So
children are weak and will not survive the winter.
We want to, speaking of marriage, we want to talk about the gay relationship. But first, Colin Kaepernick. Quickly, your thoughts on Colin Kaepernick and what he did?
Oh God, I'm so tired of all this
forget it. Let's skip
stuff. It's so boring.
Do you watch football? I'm curious because the misconception is because you're gay, you don't care about.
Well,
football,
only if I'm horny, but
okay.
Sometimes the internet's being flaky, so
let's let us cut to the chase. I want to ask you some penetrating questions right here.
See what he did there?
About
it did not pass unnoticed.
Gay culture right here. Now, this is what we want to talk about. Last time you were here, you said you wouldn't mind being in prison, locked in a room with 30 guys.
Oh, can you imagine? It's my life mission to have sex with someone on death row.
Here is the question.
I want someone's hands around me that have killed someone. I want hands on my throat that have suffocated someone.
Right?
Can you imagine anything hotter than that?
No.
Oh my goodness.
I could, but that's another.
I want to convince some TV producer to make a show where I just go on death row, and I'm going to convince them that the idea is I meet these people who are like on death row for murder, and it kind of like liberalizes me, and I suddenly realize and all the rest of it. No, I'm going to. I still want him on the chair, but I do want him. I do want him first.
If you call the guys in Miami, those king guys, and want to do death row porn, I guarantee you'll get a gig. I guarantee you.
God,
what have they got to lose?
I'll see you in December. Death row.
Okay.
I might need to be excused for the next segment. I'm sorry, you're going to ask me some questions.
We have our colleague here, it's Justin. He's a producer. He's gay, and we were talking to him about the gay lifestyle. About
come, let me look at you.
Take a look.
Come over here.
Do the twirl.
He's a cute kid.
I want to examine you.
Look at him.
Look, he's adorable. What a pretty little thing.
You like him, right?
No. He's not old enough or black enough for me.
But here's the question now: do guys, in other words, in the relationship, guys who give it and take it? I mean, are you incompatible with two guys who take it? Or are you two guys incompatible with each other?
This is one of the reasons I sleep with black guys, because white guys always think I'm a top, or white guys always think I want to be the daddy because I've got a very overbearing personality.
So you're not?
And I don't. No, when I get home, I just want someone to take command.
Right.
Sure. So, no, but if every time I go home with a white guy, they're always kind of like, the body language changes. They start to kind of like get coquettish, and their head sort of tilts to one side. And I'm like, oh God, I've realised what I've just got myself into. This is going to be an hour of torture. This is not what I'm in the game for.
Do you establish that when you're discussing it over drinks? I mean, I like this and you like that, so
I think it becomes clear through sort of body language and things, but if you don't take the time enough to make absolutely sure, then it can get
See, I would think Milo, that you do both. Like, you may take it in the beginning.
Well, some people,
if it's a long 2 hours of sex, you would do both, right? I mean, wouldn't you, right? Take it, give it. No.
I'm sure that some people do that.
But you don't do
I
that.
happen to have a preference.
So you don't, which is what? Now, put it on the table. Not literally. Just tell us. Tell us what it is.
He takes it.
You like to take it.
Like a champ.
I like a champ, yes. Biting the pillow you advertised so brilliantly earlier.
You want to bite the pillow in a prison cell with 30
I mean, I've just told you I want hands around my throat, and you're asking me whether I'm a top or a bottom. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I want to get throttled while I do.
Look how great this is. Right now we've got Justin. He likes to give it. You like to take it.
No. Justin doesn't. Likes to take it.
I don't believe that for a second.
So they're
look
not.
at him.
They're not. Even though they're gay, they're not compatible.
Because we've got Danny Monk in here with the camera. We could have had a great scene just now.
Hey,
no, look at him. There's no way he's giving it to anyone.
So listen, we learned something about our gay neighbors.
Just kidding.
Milo Yiannapolous, we're out of time.
We love
you. Are fabulous. You're unbelievable, an unbelievable phenomenon on online, with your podcast and politics and culture, everything. You're a fabulous dude.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for coming in on the Bernie and Sid show. Anytime you're in New York, you're welcome here on this show.
This is my favorite.
I will tell you this:
my favorite show. You will be holding me back.
He's the horniest guy I know, and he's actually thinking twice now about being with women because of you. He's thinking about making the crew.
That doesn't surprise me. There is a thing on the internet called Milosexual.
Yeah.
It's like gamers and frat boys who are kind of frustrated with the excesses of modern feminism and how terrible women are turning themselves into undateable monsters these days because of feminism, and they're looking out on this clever, sassy, funny, hot British dude, and they're like,
I'm a fanboy. I'm a Milo fanboy. Hey, Milo, thanks, man.
Thank you so much.
Anytime. Bernie and Sid back after this.